vector, or you'll say motion in plane. What do you mean by vector? I'm defining you. Suppose first is in units and dimension, I had defined you. What do you mean by physical quantity? So you'll say all measurable quantity, whether it will be measured directly or indirectly, is termed as physical quantity. So you'll say all measurable quantity is called physical quantity. Now, we measure any quantity in two different ways. First is, let's say a quantity X. So it will have some numerical value and some specified unit for the measurement of that part. Suppose for distance, it will be 5 meters. So 5 is numerical value and meter is its unit in which distance is being measured. Similarly, mass of a body is 2 kg. So 2 is any number and kg is its unit in which it is being measured. So we can say any physical quantity can be defined using numerical value and a specified unit. So X is any physical quantity here. N is defining U, numerical value, and U is any specified unit for the measurement of that part. Now, numerical value and specified unit combinedly will be termed as magnitude of that given quantity. So if someone asks you, what do you mean by magnitude? So you will say it is numerical value and that specified unit. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, suppose there is another quantity which is y. It will be numerical value, unit, and there should some angle to define its inclination, for which we can define its direction. This numerical value and unit will define you magnitude. This theta will define angle for which we can define direction. So in this part, we have both magnitude as well as direction. Now we can define a physical quantity which having only magnitude is termed as scalar, and a physical quantity which having both magnitude and direction is termed as vector. Is it clear? What do you
Yes,
mean
sir.
by scalar or vector?
Yes, sir.
Hafsa, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So from this we can say scalar is a quantity or a physical quantity which having only magnitude and no proper direction, and which obeys algebraic laws. Is termed as scalar, and similarly vector is a quantity which having both magnitude and direction and obeys vector law is termed as vector quantity. Just write it down to this part.
Done, sir.
Have you all done till this part?
Yes,
Raza?
sir. Done.
Yes, sir, completed.
Now the next thing is representation of vector. A vector may be represented in two different ways. First is called analytical method of representing any vector, in which a vector may be represented using arrow. Let's say a vector A is along this direction. So in this representation, we may define two terms. First is length of this arrow from this point to this point. So it will be length of arrow. This will define you magnitude of that given vector. Next is called arrowhead. Which will define direction of that given vector. So we can say in this representation, we have both magnitude as well as direction. So this is called analytical way of representing any vector. There is another way of representing any vector, which is called Cartesian form, in which we first define what do you mean by unit vector. As its name suggests you, unit means having one, or you'll say a vector which having unit magnitude and it shows direction only to that particular vector. So it will be termed as unit vector. So you'll say a vector having unit magnitude and defines only direction is called unit vector. Now, we may define unit vector in two different terms. First is along any coordinate axis or to define direction of coordinate axis, it will be termed as universal unit vector. And next is along any vector itself. Now I'm defining you these two terms. Suppose this is x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. To define direction along x-axis, we use I and cap over it, which represent unit vector. To define direction along y-axis, it will be j and cap over it. Similarly, to define direction along z-axis, it will be k and cap over it. So this is how we define direction of coordinate axes using I cap, j cap, and k cap. So you will say I cap is unit vector to define x-axis or along x-axis. Similarly, j cap and k cap as well. Now the next term is how to define unit vector along vector itself. So it will be represented by a cap, which will be equals to vector divided by its magnitude. So if a term having cap over it is called unit vector, if a term having arrow over it will be termed as vector, and if a term having modulus is called magnitude of that vector. Is it clear till this part?
So can you repeat the last one, along any vector?
Let's say you have a vector A and you have to define direction along this vector. So it will be equals to A cap, or you'll say any term having cap over it will define you unit vector. Since in this part we have A cap over it, so it will be unit vector along A, and it will be equals to vector A divided by its magnitude. Is it clear?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Just write it down. I'm giving you some examples related to this.
Done, sir.
Have you all done?
Yes, sir.
Khalid?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's say you have coordinate x-axis, y-axis for a particular point A having coordinate x and y. So if you draw a vertical line from this point, length will be x from this point to this point. Similarly, if you draw vertical line to this, it will be y from this point to this point. Now, if you draw origin to that point, so it will behave as a vector. Now, I have to write A in vector form. So it will be A vector is equals to a vector having two terms. One is magnitude and the other is direction. So let's say for this A, it having magnitude x along x-axis and direction of x-axis will be represented by A I cap, and similarly direction of y-axis will be defined by j cap. So you will say A vector is equals to magnitude along x-axis multiplied by its direction plus magnitude along y-axis multiplied by its direction. So this is how we transform any coordinate system into vector term. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now, since length of this arrow will define you its magnitude. Now, in this triangle, length of arrow from this point to this point will behave as hypotenuse of that triangle. And using Pythagoras theorem, you will easily calculate that particular length. So mod of A will be equals to, using Pythagoras theorem, it will be root under base square plus perpendicular square. So this will be vector and this will be magnitude of that vector. Now, if we divide,
Why do we put the
yes,
mod, sir? Mod. Why do we put the mod?
mod will define you magnitude, the only length part of that given vector. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Similarly, if you divide these two terms, you will get unit vector along A. So we had a formula, A cap is equals to vector divided by its magnitude. Vector A is xi cap, yj cap divided by its magnitude, which is x square plus y square root under. So this will define you unit vector along A. Now, the last term, we have to define inclination of this A with respect to x-axis. So this will be this theta. So for this theta, we have adjacent term x and opposite term as y. So if you calculate tan theta, so it will be y divided by x. From this, you will easily calculate theta or inclination of vector with respect to x-axis. So these are mainly 4 different terms which will be calculated using this coordinate system. Just write it down. I'm giving you example. After writing, try to simplify this.
Well, what to do with that ing?
For this first part, that is
Yeah.
vector representation, keep it as it is.
Okay. So ing we have to keep it as it is.
Yeah. While taking modulus, we just take coefficient of I and j and square of it. So it will be x squared and y squared. And for this theta, take tan theta will be equals to y divided by x. While taking magnitude, we have to take square root of that expression. Okay, Raza?
Yes, sir.
So the first part, x is 1, so it will be 1 times I cap, or we write it as I cap, plus y is root 3, so it will be root 3 times j cap as vector p. Good care. Similarly, put the value of x and y in this part and take square root of it. Similarly for this part, and try to define theta. Good, Aksha. Minashi, just convert that value in terms of angle. We put the value of x as 1. So on squaring, it will be 1. Plus y is root 3. So on squaring, it will be 3 whole root. So 1 plus 3 is 4. And on taking square root, it will be just 2. Now below, we have a root of 3 as y. So on squaring it, you will get just 3. Now, if you put the value of y as root 3, x as 1, so it will be root 3. If tan theta is equals to root 3, so theta will be 60 degree. Khalid, any doubt?
No, sir.
Hafsa, any doubt till this? Okay. So this is all about how we represent any vector in analytical form and next in Cartesian form. And what do you mean by unit vector along coordinate axes or along any different vector? Now, the next term is we have to define first angle between two vector. Let's say you have one vector along this direction and the other vector is along this direction. This is vector A and this is vector B. In this part, head of these two vectors is coinciding or terminating at single point. So it will be termed as co-terminal vector. So you will say vectors having same final point is called co-terminal vector. Now suppose one vector is along this direction and the other is along this direction, both having same initial point. Or you will say both are emerging from same point. So it will be termed as co-initial vector. Vector having same initial point. Now, for co-initial vector or co-terminal vector, we may define two different angles. One would be this term, and the other would be a reflex of this, which will be this term. Similarly, in this part, angle would be this term or a reflex of that particular, so it will be this term. So angle between any two vectors is the smaller angle for co-terminal vector or co-initial vector. So arrange two vector as co-initial or co-terminal. Then smaller angle between them is called angle of vector. Is it clear? Mazia, is it clear? You all have written? Khalid, done? Now there is one more relation. Suppose you have a vector if it is displaced or slide along this direction or along this direction or along this direction or this direction without changing its length and its inclination, then there will be no change in vector. So you will say if length of vector from this point to this point is same and inclination of this vector with respect to x-axis is same, so a vector may be slide along any direction. A vector may be displaced or slide in any direction, keeping its length and inclination with x-axis to be fixed. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on the basis of this part, we can define what will be the minimum condition for equality of two vectors. So from this, you will say equality of two vectors. So in any vector, we have two different terms. One is called magnitude and the second is called direction. So if magnitude of first vector equals to magnitude of second, and direction of a vector is represented by its unit vector, so it will be a cap equals to b cap, then we will say vector A equals to vector B. So from this we can conclude for equality of any two vector, both magnitude and direction of two vector must be equal. Okay, just write it down. Well done. Minashi, any doubt?
Yes.
Now I'm giving you some problems related to this. Find angle between two vector. Let's say first is this is A and this is B. And let's say this inclination is 60 degree. So what would be the angle between two vectors, A and B? Is it 60 degree or some other term? I defined you above. What do you mean by angle between any two vectors? Just use that concept and try to find. As I defined you in this part, whenever you have to calculate angle between any two vector, try to form co-initial vector or co-terminal vector. Similarly, for this part, or to define any two vector as co-initial or co-terminal, we may displace any vector along its direction. So let's say we can displace B along this path. So it will move like this. So this will become B. Now A and B having same final point. So these two vectors will now behave as coterminal vector. Now for this part, we have two different angles. One is from this point to this point, and the other from this point to this point. Now angle between any two vector would be smaller in between. So you will say this angle will be angle between two vectors. So how to calculate this part? Just see, for this straight line, sum of angle would be 180 degree. If this is 60 degree, so this must be 120 degree. So theta between A and B in this part will be 120 degree. Is it clear? How to calculate angle between two vectors?
We have to arrange it in co-initial or co-terminal.
Yeah.
Then you have to find the.
Ehtisham, just check your calculation.
Okay.
Similarly, try to find for the second part. Good, Ehtisham. Similarly, if you calculate for the second part, in this term, we have two vector as same starting point. Now for this part, we have two angles. One is from this point to this point, another is from this point to this point. So which one will be smaller? So you will say this one. Total complete angle at a single point will be 360 degree. If one of the term is 330, the other will be just 30 degree. So angle between two vectors for this condition will be 30 degree. Raza, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write it down. Mazia, any doubt?
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay. Have you all done till this part? Khalid?
Just a second, sir.
Yes, sir.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Okay. As I am not so well today, so let's stop here. In next class, I will define you some more term regarding this vector. Then we will start addition, multiplication related to this. Okay?
Sure, sir.
Okay then. We'll meet
Thank
in
you,
next
sir.
class.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.